right? So let's talk about our common concerns here and how we can advance our understanding. The hunt for the man suspected of killing Maryland mom of 5, 37-year-old Rachel Morin. Her body found on August 6th. Popular hiking trail. She was on it all the time. It was well traveled. Very brazen. 5 days later, a video comes out. They used that genealogy DNA thing that we've been talking about on the show here, right, in Gilgo Beach and other places. This guy. Now, his DNA linked him to this home invasion, assault of a young girl in L.A. The sheriff on the case in Maryland says the suspect could be a serial killer and will likely kill again if he isn't caught, which is an interesting perspective if you think about it, because the only thing we know about this guy, if he is the one who killed Morin, and again, how would they have any DNA, mitochondrial DNA or otherwise, if he hadn't been there, when he didn't kill that person in the video? Harford County Sheriff Jeff Gahler joins us now. Sheriff, thank you for taking the time.
Sure, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you. I know you're busy, so thank you. What do you need people to know?
Oh, we need people to, we put out that video now about coming up on 2 weeks ago, the video of the suspect, the individual that we feel is responsible for Rachel's homicide. And someone out there knows him, and we don't know where he's been laying his head since committing this heinous act here in our county. So we need this picture seen far and wide. It is the best image. A lot of people have said, there's the doorbell of him coming out. Where's the one of him coming in, the Ring camera? If we had a better video, that's what we'd be showing. That's what we have to work with. But that's enough. Off of his profile, off of his features, there's somebody out there who can recognize him and tell us who he is.
The victim in California, did she have enough of a recollection to allow for a sketch of his face?
Well, that's certainly part of the investigation. We do not have a sketch at this time. We had investigators on the ground out in Los Angeles last week. Part of the many comments that we've seen related to the video have to do with the apparent calmness in which the suspect leaves that house, not fitting a home invasion where an assault took place. So investigators were out there working that end. We have some of the answers, but to keep the investigation as secure, and we're interested in putting together a quality case, finding this person and being able to prosecute him, to protect the quality of the investigation. We're not releasing a lot of the details, but we do have some of the answers, and we see it, but we see the people's frustration and not understanding that video of how he left. I can only say the comments on I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Sheriff. Go ahead, Sheriff.
No, the comments related to the potential that he's a serial murderer, there were aspects of that crime there, although it was not a homicide, that was certainly present in Rachel's homicide. So, again, we think this guy's out there. Will he do this again? I have no doubt in my mind. If he's not captured, if he's not taken out of society and put behind bars, he will do this again.
I totally respect the integrity of the investigation. There's certain things you got to keep to yourself. We just keep working the phones to get you on because we want to do as much as we can to help you catch the bad guy. And anything we can do in that regard, consider us a call away.
Thank you, sir. We greatly appreciate the time and the sharing of that video. And again, anybody that has a tip, please share it with us so that we can put investigators on it.
And there's a $10,000 reward for information leading to his capture?
Yes, we did that. We announced that at the end of last week. 2000's Metro Crime Stoppers average award that they usually post. We've added 8,000 from the Harford County Drug Task Force forfeiture money. So we're using money taken away from drug dealers to up the reward amount. And often in these cases, money talks. People might not do something for free, but if $10,000 motivates someone who knows him to call us and identify him and it gets him off the street, then that's a good thing.
One last thing. The woman who was victimized by him in California, the one closing the door, has anything come from interviewing her that people should know in terms of what kind of guy we're dealing with?
No, I would say that without going into the aspects, and that's the Los Angeles Police Department's investigation, we worked hand in hand, our investigators, with them last week, speaking to people in that home, including the victim. So I would say there's not additional clues or information that we can share with the public as a result of that at this time. I'm hopeful that some other things that we are working maybe in the near future I've heard about the sketch that you mentioned before. We're working on those ends, but we just don't have it yet.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.